uncountable sets. And the definition of a countable set was a set X is said to be countable if it is either finite or enumerable. This is the meaning of a countable set. A set which is not countable is said to be uncountable set. Yesterday we have done examples that we have also proved that the set of naturals, integers, and rationals comes under this category of uncountable sets. And today we are to prove with the result that R is uncountable. The set of reals is uncountable. But before this, we have to do a small result. The result is every subset of a countable is countable. Every subset of a countable set is countable. Now for this, suppose we have, let A be a countable set, and B is any subset of A. Now we are to prove that B is also countable. Now there exist two cases. If A is finite, which is the first case, and the second case will be if A is enumerable. First is finite or second is enumerable. So if A is finite, then B be finite होएगा, or B finite subset of a finite set is also be finite, and hence we can say that A is also a countable set. क्योंकि B A का subset है, A अगर finite है तो B भी finite होएगा and hence become countable. Similar, if A is enumerable, then A can be written as A1, A2, A3, so on. And if B is empty, then B is countable. It is obvious. Okay, empty set is always a subset of any set. So अगर B एक phi set है, तो वो automatically countable हो जाएगा. And अगर B is non-empty है, then in the sequence of elements of A, its first element in A is, इसका जो first element है, and that will be A K1, that should belongs to B. Take the name that is named as B1. B1 इसके element को name रख दिया है. The second element in A is, इसका जो कोई element है जो इसमें second element है, the second element in B which we are taking from the set A is similarly AK2, that belongs to B, and take B2 is equal to AK2. This process does or does not terminate according to as B is finite or not. अगर B फाइनाइट है तो वो टर्मिनेट हो जाएगा, प्रोसेस रुक जाएगा. अगर B फाइनाइट नहीं है तो ये प्रोसेस कंटिन्यू रहेगा. सो सिंस A कंटेन्स ऑल द एलिमेंट्स ऑफ B, क्योंकि ये जो एलिमेंट्स हैं ये एक्चुअली में आ कहाँ से रहे हैं, A के सेट में से ही आ रहे हैं. सिंस सो द पॉसिबल टर्मिनेटिंग सीक्वेंस, जो टर्मिनेटिंग सीक्वेंस ऑफ B होएगा वो होएगा B1 into B2, B3 and so on. ये जो elements आ रहे हैं. So therefore B is either finite, sorry. Therefore B, क्योंकि ये जो sequence elements हैं वो B के हैं. So B या तो finite होएगा या enumerable होएगा. So it gives us that B is countable. So this proves that every subset of a countable is countable. One more small result is there. Intersection of two countable sets is also countable. This is the next result. intersection of two countable sets is countable. Now for this we take A and B are two countable sets. So the intersection of A, B, because A is countable, B is countable. So if A is countable, B is countable, we also know the intersection of A and B will be A intersection B. That will either be subset of A or either be subset of B. तो इन दोनों में से कोई ना कोई केस होएगा ही होएगा. So if it is a subset of A and A is countable, so subset of a countable set is countable by the previous theorem. And similar will be the case here. So this will give us that the intersection of two countable sets is a countable set. Now we can show the intersection of two countably infinite sets by taking the example. Intersection of two countably infinite sets can be finite or countably infinite. है तो वो countable, but the number is infinite. Now we take A and B are two countably infinite sets, and we take A is the set of odd natural numbers, and we take B is the set of even natural numbers. Now A intersection B is clearly phi, because odd and even are totally different, but phi, which is also a finite set, so we can say that this gives us a finite set. Now the second case, countably infinite, take the set B as the set of naturals. The set of naturals is 1, 2, 3, so on up to infinite. Then A intersection B is A intersection set of naturals. What is A? Odd natural. So it come out to be 1, 3, 5, 7, so on. So this will be the intersection of set A with the set of naturals N. So this set is obviously countably infinite set. This is an infinite set, no doubt about that. And we have proved that this is a countable set in the just days class, if you remember. And the set of naturals is a countable set. This we have proved in the yesterday's class, that the set of naturals is countable set. So if the set of naturals is a countable set, and the set of odd naturals is always a subset of a set of a complete natural set, and every subset of a countable set is countable. That is why it comes out to be a countable set. Now, there are few examples which will help us to understand the things, whether we have a countable set, we have uncountable set, or we have countably infinite sets. जैसे एक एग्जांपल है, the example is all movies produced by A.R. Rahman. Movies by A.R. Rahman. Obviously, the number of movies will be either 10 or 20 or 100. कोई ना कोई figure होएगा. So it gives us a finite set. But the set of reals, in 0, 1. 0, 1 is an interval, or 0, 1 number line पर. So there are infinite number of points will be there. बहुत छोटे छोटे points भी आप ले सकते हैं. So this is clearly an infinite set, and countably infinite class of all programs that can ever be written in programming language C++. So that can be countably infinite. This is the third example for countably infinite. Class of all programs that can ever be written in C++. So that set will always be a countably infinite set. So these are few of the examples for countably infinite, and a finite set or a countable set. So let us start with the important result, and that is Cantor's diagonal argument, और कैंटर्स थ्योरम भी बोल देते हैं इसको. Cantor's diagonal argument or theorem. The theorem says that uh, the set of all reals is countable. This is the theorem. The set of all reals is countable. Uncountable, sorry. The set of all reals is uncountable. Now for this we require a sub-theorem that can be named as lemma. We know that the interval 0, 1 is a subset of the set of reals. So for this we shall prove that the set of all reals in 0, 1 is uncountable. उसके लिए हम अगर ये प्रूव कर देंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो सेट ऑफ ऑल रियल्स विल बी काउंटेबल, क्योंकि अगर सबसेट ही अनकाउंटेबल हो जाएगा तो सुपरसेट ऑटोमेटिकली अनकाउंटेबल होएगा ही होएगा. सो फॉर द प्रूफ ऑफ दिस, सपोज इफ पॉसिबल, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वी आर सपोजिंग if possible that the set of all reals in 0, 1 is countable. This is we are supposing. Since 0, 1 is an infinite set, why it is an infinite set? Because there are infinite number of points on the real line in this interval 0, 1. Infinite small points are there. That is why it is an infinite set. It can be an infinite set, or it is enumerable, or it is denumerable, or countable, countably infinite set. ये कुछ भी हो सकता है. इन्फाइनाइट सेट भी हो सकता है, एन्यूमरेबल भी हो सकता है, डीन्यूमरेबल भी हो सकता है, और काउंटेबल इनफाइनाइट भी हो सकता है. यही हमने चेक करना है. सपोज, और हम क्या करते हैं, 0, 1 के ऊपर ये जो छोटे छोटे पॉइंट्स हैं, नेम इट एज A1, A2, A3 सो ऑन, इनका हम एक सेट ले लेते हैं. वी टेक द सेट ऑफ ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स which are lying in the interval 0 and 1 on the real line. So this set is there. Now every real number, these are the real numbers actually in 0 and 1. Every real numbers in 0 and 1, suppose A1, A2, A3, can be uniquely written as, this is important, can be uniquely written as non-terminating decimal fraction. It can be uniquely written. Uniquely mean मतलब उसको उस नंबर को किसी और वे में नहीं लिखा जा सकता है। तो जस्ट लाइक 0 पॉइंट, दिस इज द पॉइंट डेसिमल, सो x1 x2 x3 सो ऑन। और ये जो x1 x2 x3 है ये आएंगे आपके 0 से लेकर के 9 तक में से। 0 से लेकर 9 तक जो नंबर है इनमें से कोई भी हो सकता है, x1 x2 x3 सो ऑन। एग्जाम्पल भी बता सकते हैं, जैसे 1/7 इज 0.1428571 428,571। अब ये अलग अलग नंबर हैं, लेकिन ये सारे के सारे नंबर 0.0 और 9 में से आ रहे हैं। so that is why this is written now। अब ये हर एक रियल नंबर, एवरी रियल नंबर कैन बी एक्सप्रेस्ड लाइक दिस। every real number on the real line 0 and 1, on the real line in between the interval 0 and 1. The first number, suppose it is written like 0.A11, A12, A13, and the second point A2 is 0.A21, A22, A23, and so on. And the third point is 0.A31, 32, A33. The fourth one is 0.A41, 42, 43, and the fifth one will be A5, and that can be written as 0A51, 52, 53, and so on. Similarly, we can write down the nth, AN 0.AN1, N2, N3, and so on. Now ये जो AIJs हैं 11, 12, 13, 21, 22, 23, all these AIJ should come from the set 0 to 9. This is important क्योंकि इनके बाहर में से नहीं हो सकते। ये देखिए 0 to 9 में से ही आएंगे। Now we can form a new terminating decimal fraction as, suppose we consider an element B, that is 0.B1, B2, B3, and so on, where the decimal digits are determined by the following rule, that is BI 1 and 2. 1 आएगा जब AII not equal to 1, and if AII equal to 2 आ जाएगा तो फिर 2 आएगा। ये हम इन्हीं नंबर्स में से किसी एक नंबर, we can form a new non-terminating decimal fraction as, ये एक नई डेसिमल फ्रैक्शन बना रहे हैं b is equal to 0.B1, B2, B3। बट इसमें कंडीशंस ये लगा दी गई हैं कि AII अगर इक्वल टू 1 नहीं है तो फिर 1 आएगा, BI इक्वल टू 1 होएगा, और अगर AII इक्वल टू 2 होएगा तो फिर 2 आएगा। For this we will have, for example, we will apply this technique now। A1 suppose हमारे पास है 0.25679 so on, A2 है 0.22590 so on, A3 है 0.09445 so on, A4 हमारे पास है 0.802249 so on। ऐसे ही और भी पॉइंट्स हैं A1, A2, A3, A4 so on। नाउ देन अब B1 कैसे फाइंड आउट करेंगे? फर्स्ट B1 मीन व्हेन A11 we want to find B1, we can find B2, we can find B3 also, and we can find B4 also। B1 mean I equal to 1। Now A11, what is A11? The first point. The first point is 2 here. So if A11 is 2, then it should be 2. This is the way. The next one is B2, A22 in this. in the second place in 2. Second place is also 2. So B2 is also 2. Now in the third place, and the third place is B3. And we want to find a B3 for I equal to 3. And A33, A33 is in the third, that is the third place, 4. And because 4 is not equal to 1, so we shall have 1. And in the fourth, we have again A44, that is the 2, which is the fourth place. So A44 is 2, and then B4 is 2, and so on. अब ध्यान से देखिए, इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो B है, B is 0 point from this. We can write down B is 0 point B1. B1 is 2, B2 is 2, then B3 1, then 2. So this is your B1, and this real number B1 is not equal to A1, A2, A3, and so on. So this real number is not equal to any of these numbers. So this real number is not equal to any of these numbers A1, A2, A3. It means we can obtain a real number B which is not in the list A1, A2, A3, so on. वो इस लिस्ट में नहीं है. So which is a contradiction. It is a contradiction to the assumption that all real numbers in 0, 1 can be expressed as A1, A2, A3. ये हमारा assumption था. Can be expressed as a non-terminating decimal fractions with the elements A1, A2, A3, so on. Hence, ये एक contradiction आ गया, और हम शुरू में लिख के चले थे कि the set of reals in 0, 1 are countable, suppose if possible. So अगर contradiction आ चुका है, so it means it should not be countable. Hence, 0, 1, the set of reals in 0, 1 is uncountable. सारे के सारे set of real numbers in the interval 0, 1 is uncountable. But 0, 1 is the subset of real numbers set R, and if a subset is uncountable 0, 1, then R must be uncountable, because superset of an uncountable set is always uncountable. So remember this thing. Every superset of an uncountable set is always uncountable. And one more thing, इसके पहले हमने Cantor's diagonal argument से पहले एक थ्योरम करा था, that intersection of intersection of two countable sets is countable. And one more argument we have, which we shall in the result. Let us use in the result directly. Come to the result. We have a result that using Cantor's diagonal element show that the set of irrational numbers is uncountable. You have to use Cantor's diagonal element. We know that the set of reals is always the combination of, or the union of, set of rationals and irrationals. This is irrational set, this is a set of rationals. Now let, if possible, let if possible q dash is the set of irrationals. Let if possible that q dash is countable. ये हम suppose कर लेते हैं. q is already countable and अगर हम q dash भी countable मान लेते हैं, then the union of two countable sets should be countable. So union of two countable sets should be countable. This gives that R is countable, but which is a contradiction because Cantor's diagonal argument says that R is always uncountable set. So this assumption is not true. Hence, it gives that the set of irrational is always uncountable. So using Cantor's diagonal argument, we can prove it very easily. Now we have cardinality of infinite sets. Cardinality of infinite sets. Now we have infinite sets. The infinite sets are naturals, integers, rationals, and reals and elements in the interval 0, 1. We now discuss their cardinality. The cardinal number of the infinite set, the set of naturals, is generally written by n naught. Actually, a specific symbol is there. There is a specific type of n which is given. This is a sort of symbol actually. Like this. So this n naught is there. This is the specific symbol used for cardinality, and this symbol is known as LF naught. LF naught, remember. This symbol is due to Cantor's argument. Similarly, the cardinality, this symbol is used for an infinite set. Cardinality of an infinite set is generally denoted by ELF naught. So we can say that the cardinality of this set, and the set of rational because these are not countable sets, and it means their cardinality should be infinite. And we can say that the cardinality of an infinite set is often called as continuum. Remember. This is usually written by continuum. Now we have to do the proof of a next important result. The result is, or you can say this is a theorem, and the theorem is Schroeder-Bernstein theorem. Schroeder-Bernstein theorem says that this is the theorem which we have already used in the previous class. Let f is a function from x to y, and g is a function from y to x, and both functions are 1, 1 functions. Then there exists a 1, 1 onto function h from x to y, where x and y are any sets. This is the Schroeder-Bernstein theorem. This is a very important theorem we have. So let us prove the theorem. Define a new function which is a capital F. This is from power set of x to power set of x by Power set of X mean all subsets of X. So this is f of A. A comes from this domain set. It means A is a subset of X. So that is can be written as X minus G of Y minus F of A. For all A belongs to X, because A belongs to power set, it means A is a subset of X. This is the definition given by this function. Now we prove that f is a monotonic function. Now monotonic function, this is we need to prove. Monotonic का meaning actually में क्या आता है? The function will be a monotonic function if for two sets x1 subset of x2, f of x1 should be f of x2, should be a subset of f of x2. This is the meaning of monotonic. So this result we shall prove first that f is monotonic. For this we take that we have two proper subsets of x. Write down here proper subsets of x such that A is a subset of B. And for monotonicity, we shall prove that F, sorry, this is a capital F. Monotonic prove करने के लिए अगर A subset of B लेते हैं by using this argument, then we shall prove that f of A should be subset of f of B. This is we need to prove. Now, A is a subset of B, and we have given that f is 1 1. क्योंकि अगर f 1 1 है, then f of A should be subset of f of B. This is the property for 1 1. Now, remember, we have a result for complement. If A is a subset of B, then B complement is a subset of A complement. This is the result we are going to use. A is a subset of B, then B complement should be subset of A complement. Remember, what is A? A is a subset of B, and B is a subset of A, and F is a function from X to Y. So it means f of A belongs to codomain set Y, f of B belongs to codomain set Y. ये दोनों ही कोडमेन सेट में से आ रहे हैं. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि इसका एफ ए सेट का और एफ बी सेट का दोनों का जो सुपर सेट है या यूनिवर्सल सेट है वो कैपिटल वाई है. इट मीन द कॉम्प्लीमेंट ऑफ एफ ऑफ E will be universal minus f of B subset of the complement of f of B will be universal minus the set f of E. So इसका complement ये है और इसका complement ये है by using this argument. Now this is a set. This is a set. And you know that both are set, both the sets are in Y, and both the sets are subsets of Y, and we also have G is a mapping from Y to X which is 1 1. So domain के एलिमेंट हैं इसकी, G की डोमेन के एलिमेंट हैं ये, और एलिमेंट क्या है? सेट्स हैं. दोनों ही सेट Y में से आ रहे हैं. Then G, because G 1 1 mapping है, then G of Y of f of B should be subset of G of Y minus f of A. Why? Because G is 1 1. Right on? G is 1 1. This has been used here. Now G of y minus f of b. Remember, अगर ये एलिमेंट डोमेन में से था, देन g ऑफ दिस एलिमेंट शुड कम फ्रॉम x. तो ये वाला एलिमेंट g ऑफ y, यहीं पर लिखे, g ऑफ y माइनस f ऑफ b comes from x. Similarly, g of y minus f of a also comes from x. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि x जो है यूनिवर्सल सेट है एंड ये इसके सबसेट्स हैं दोनों. So both are subsets, or this element comes from universal set. So subset भी लिख सकते हैं and it mean its complement will be universal set x minus g of y minus f of a. Remember here f of b is there और इसका complement करना है तो x minus this होएगा is a subset of थोड़ा सा इसको रेज कर लीजिए, इसको नीचे करके लिख लेंगे. सो is a subset of x minus g of y minus f of b. We are again using this argument and this left hand side is clearly x minus g of y minus f a, that is f of a is a subset of, और अगर एक ही जगह पर b हो जाएगा so it will become f of b. So a subset of b gives f a subset of f b. It means f is monotonic. So we can write that f is monotonic by using the monotonic property. Now we have a fixed point theorem which we have to use. Using fixed point theorem says that there exists a subset x naught of x such that f of x naught is always equal to x naught. This is by fixed point theorem. x naught कोई और set ले लिया हमने and that is a subset of x and your x is what? Just see the statement. X is the domain of f. Remember, x is the domain of f and that should also be the domain of the new function जो हमने बनाना है. The new function should be h. This is the function which we have to make or prove and which should be 1 1 and onto. So for this, let us proceed. So this is f of x naught is equal to x naught, and from here x naught can be written as f of x naught, and remember g is a mapping from y to x. So clearly this is f of x naught, and x naught is a subset of x, and we can write down like this. X naught is a subset of x codomain में से आ रहा. So sorry, f of x naught that should belongs to codomain. So it's a complement. Sorry, it's a yes, complement universal set x minus g of y minus f of x naught. जैसे हमने पीछे बनाया मोनोटॉनिक के लिए वैसे ही कॉम्प्लीमेंट बना दिया. So this is x naught is equal to x minus g of y minus f of x naught by using the complement phenomena, and from here you will have x minus x naught is g of y minus f of x naught, and therefore each for each x in this set, this is the complement of x naught. क्योंकि एक्स नॉट क्या है, सबसेट ऑफ एक्स। सो द कॉम्प्लीमेंट ऑफ एक्स नॉट, ये उसका सुपर सेट है। सुपर सेट में से एक्स नॉट निकाल देंगे तो बाकी के बचे हुए एलिमेंट्स आ जाएंगे, द रिमेनिंग एलिमेंट्स which belongs to x but not in x naught. So for each x in this set there exists y belonging to capital Y minus f of x naught by using this, such that g of this y is equal to x. It means we have been able to find out the pre-image. We have been able to find out the pre-image of every element in codomain. Just see, x belongs to codomain. ध्यान से देखिए, x belonging to x minus x naught. इसका मतलब है कि x x में तो है, x x naught में नहीं है. This gives. So it means x belonging to codomain और उसका pre-image y में से. So the pre-image comes from y. So this is the pre-image and this belongs to this set y. Okay, y belongs to y mean y minus this mean y in y but not in f of x naught. So this gives that every element in codomain of G has pre-image in domain of G. This proves that G is onto. This is the property of an onto function, and G is already 1 1. G is 1 1 already. So if G is 1 1 onto, it means G is invertible function. Invertible function means G inverse exists. This is the meaning of invertible function. So if G inverse exists, then we can say that from here G inverse of x is equal to y. G inverse can exist. So now we can define a new function h which we want to find out. So define a new function h from domain x to y, so that h of x should be like f of x when x belonging to x naught, and this is G inverse x when x belonging to its complement. Its complement will be x minus x naught. अगर कॉम्प्लीमेंट में हो x नॉट के एलिमेंट तो G इनवर्स x, और अगर x नॉट में हो तो f of x. So this is the new function defined by us from x to y. और अगर कोई फंक्शन हम बनाते हैं तो उसको हमें और वेल डिफाइंड चेक करना इंपॉर्टेंट है. So the first heading should be h should be well defined, and we know that what we want to prove. We want to prove that this new function, according to the statement of Bernstein theorem, there exists a 1 1 onto function h from x to y. It means after proving well defined, it should be proved as 1 1 and onto function. So, well, for well defined, let we can take any element in a domain. So two cases will arise. The first case will be, because we know that by fixed point theorem, just see the fixed point theorem, we know that x naught is a subset of x. बाय फिक्स्ड पॉइंट थ्योरम ये हमने लिया था. तो अगर ये x x में तो है, सुपर सेट में है, अगर सबसेट में हो गया तो एक केस बन जाएगा, if x belonging to x naught and if x x naught में नहीं है, सुपर सेट में है, सबसेट में नहीं है, तो वो उसके कॉम्प्लीमेंट में है, मतलब तो दूसरा केस बन जाएगा. So if x belonging to x naught, then by this definition, hx should be f of x by this definition. And fx is already well defined. Okay, fx to function given है. So it gives that hx is well defined. तो इससे well defined prove हो जाएगा first case में. Now come to the second case when x belonging to x naught complement. So अगर x belonging to x naught complement था, just see for this case x naught x belonging to x naught complement, then g is proven to be onto and it is already 1 1, and then g is invertible. So if x belonging to x naught complement, then since g inverse x exist, g inverse x exist करता है for each x in x, therefore hx is well defined. क्योंकि अगर वो exist करता है तो वो automatically well defined हो जाएगा. Why so? We know that g is a mapping from y to x. If g is a mapping from y to x and g is invertible or G inverse exists, then G inverse should be a mapping from X to Y, and H is also a mapping from X to Y. So it means अगर G inverse exist करेगा तो Hx is automatically a well-defined function. So in both the cases it is proved to be well-defined. Now come to the second point, that H is 1 1. Now for 1 1 property, let x1 x2 belonging to x, so that x1 should not be x2, then we need to prove, ये हमारा 1 1 का definition होता है, if two distinct elements are there, then their images should not be same. This is we need to prove that hx1 should not be hx2. Now there consider two sub cases again. Even more sub cases will exist. First case is because we know that x naught is a subset of x by a fixed point theorem again. So the first case